The childhood of the most famous adventurers and heroes are always filled with hardship and struggle. A child grows into an adult in the face of adversity and nigh insurmountable challenges until, as an adult, he becomes a hero. Draris's childhood, on the other hand, was spent in a protective lap of luxury. Draris's father, Draris Debinan III, was the latest unremarkable elder statesman in a long line of unremarkable elder statesmen. The man maintained a respectable holding just outside the city of Crestridge. While Draris's father spent his days in chambers endlessly debating various asinine regulations to impose upon the city, he spent his evenings with his family, constantly drilling his son on the future that awaited him in chambers. "Oh, the power the citizenship lays upon your shoulders pales in comparison to the responsibility you will be forced to deal with when you take my place. You shall make your ancestors proud by ensuring the state doesn't descend into anarchy in the absence of law." Such was Draris's father's standard refrain at the dinner table while his other siblings, 2 younger sisters, and his mother sat quietly and ate. Luckily for Draris, he was granted a reprieve from his father's oppressive ramblings. Unluckily for Draris, this reprieve came in the form of a nearly deadly illness. When Draris was turning 12, he was struck by a serious case of joint rot, which causes enormous pain when the afflicted moves faster than a snail or lifts more than a few sheets of parchment. Draris's father donated a hefty sum of gold in order to have his son admitted to the clerical college's treatment wing in Crestridge. The college itself was in fact a training location for clerical followers of Pharika. The school boasted classrooms, a library, a research wing, and the treatment wing, where Draris was confined for the next 3 years. The clerics and nurses tended to his ailment and read to him from some of the approved materials that the church released. The books the priests brought him mainly spoke of the greatness of Pharika, or of the fantastic and lopsided deeds of the deity's heroes. Draris quickly found these books as flat, boring, and oppressive as his father. Of course, the clerics eventually managed to cure Draris through the use of some rather rare herbs fed to him in the form of a medicinal tea. But just when the tea seemed to be working its magic, Draris got worse. Eventually, he was moved to a small room of his own where his noise wouldn't bother the other patients so much. This, of course, was a clever ruse on the part of Draris in order to not be missed when he snuck off to the library wing of the college. The library wing was closed to the public, and some of its books were labeled dangerous. Draris snuck into that library for a whole year, and what he read opened his eyes to a wider world outside. Eventually, Draris was caught sneaking about and thrown out of the hospital. Back in his father's home, he continued to grow under the oppressive propaganda that had become the hallmark of his birthplace. But a seed was planted. Draris wanted to know everything. He learned the art of epic storytelling from a theater troupe that made monthly visits to Crestridge. He picked up some skills with weaponry from the city guards while his father was in council. He learned a few spells from a performer in a traveling circus. He even found out a bit about the sexes from observing the ladies and, to a lesser extent, gentlemen of the night ply their wares. Eventually, on his 21st birthday, the day came when Draris III wanted his son to join him in his profession. Draris could see himself as an old man, doing the 2 things his father did now, arguing with other decrepit old men about the color of the sky, and frequenting expensive whorehouses to pay for a little excitement. Draris could never accept that life. He was resolved to forge his own life however it came to him. His days would be filled with adventure, and his women would be won through charm, not bought with taxpayers' coins. Draris left home that night, carrying only a few personal possessions: canvas pants and leather riding boots, the white button-down shirt of a gentleman under a burgundy vest, and a leather riding jacket with a few pockets, belts, and fasteners to adjust it comfortably. Almost out of spite, Draris stole his father's rapier and signet ring the night he fled the estate he had called home for so long. Perhaps he wished his father to feel more than simple disappointment when he discovered his son was missing. Draris IV, now 29, had dedicated himself to exploring the world to chronicle the most amazing tales ever told. He looks for amazing deeds and interesting persons to write about, and records everything he can in a journal, which he sends back to his youngest sister via courier whenever filled. He adventures for knowledge's sake, as well as the opportunity to have a little fun along the way. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that little reading from a character history that I had written for one of my D&D characters years ago. I've been thinking a lot about the channel and what I want to do with it, and I realized that although most of my content is D&D centric, it really doesn't have any kind of character content at this point. And when I was thinking about that, I realized that most of the interesting things about D&D come from characters, their backgrounds, their interactions. And so while maps and magical items are very interesting to me as a DM, I think the most interesting thing for most people who are into Dungeons & Dragons is the character development, role-playing itself, and just watching your characters grow from where they've been to wherever they're going during the course of their adventures. So it's going to be an ongoing series, I think, as I write new character backgrounds or discover interesting character backgrounds online. I'm going to be hopefully reading some more of these, so stick around and hopefully you'll hear about some interesting characters. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.